It feels like it was just a few weeks ago that we were crowning the champion in Avondale, Arizona. But here we are, back where all good stories start at Daytona Beach. The World Center of Racing is steeped with history, and it may be a wild card race, but even still, it's often said that the first race mark of the entire season will go. Bad finish here puts you on an uphill battle for the next 12 races. Christopher Darling enters the first arena as the reigning champion, but other Final Four runners, Drew Eisman, Hausman, and Charles, will no doubt be looking for the throne. Will Darling start his top of the fence off on a high? Will we see other veterans throw down the gauntlet, or will we see a new contender rise to the occasion? All these questions and more on the next chapter of Speed. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Green Flag TV. My name is Nolan Rample, bringing you all of the coverage here tonight from the Tires Plus 200 as we get set to kick off a new bout of racing action in the Speed Tires Plus Cup Series. At Daytona International Speedway, it is no doubt one of the most famous racetracks in the world, and what better place than to kick off racing action here tonight from It's going to be a fun ride for all involved here in this one as we get set to duke it out for 200 miles for the longest race on the season, and no doubt the biggest race as well. Taking a look at the schedule entering this season, of course, we start with the first race here at Daytona, then we'll roll to Atlanta, Vegas, Phoenix, Bristol. Circuit of the Americas on March 21st will be our first official road course race. Then we go to the action track at Richmond and a short track doubleheader for Martinsville the week after. Texas, Talladega, Dover, Kansas, and Darlington will close out the top portions from there. We'll have, I believe it's the top 10 in points being reset for a 5-race shootout with Chicagoland, Charlotte, the Worldwide Technology Raceway, Nashville, and Iowa close out the championship running here in this one. So that's your schedule then, getting set to duke it out for those 15 weeks. You know it is going to be a wild season. We know it is going to be an absolutely wild series as we get set to see who's going to come out on top here tonight at Daytona Beach. Before we get to all that, though, we want to thank some of the folks that helped keep the lights on here for the Speed Tires Plus Cup Series. And, of course, first and foremost, tonight's race is brought to you by Tires Plus Total Car Care. At Tires Plus, they know tires, but they understand that you may not, and that's perfectly okay, because it is their job to work with you to figure out what tire options may be best for your vehicle, driving style, and budget. They do this by offering a range of suggestions from good to better to best. They then give you the option to choose. They also make tire buying easy with the ability to shop, get a quote, and schedule installation online. And they're there for the duration with rotations and repairs. From simple oil changes to brakes and alignments, including your ADAS sensors, they do not believe in performing unnecessary repairs. They'll tell you what is best to be taken care of and what can wait, because at the end of the day, it's your call and your car. As well as that, Brookstone Animal Hospital, they are a AAHA accredited full-service veterinary medical boarding and grooming facility serving Metro Atlanta. Their mission is to provide modern and up-to-date medicine while tailoring their care to the individual needs of each animal and owner. They strive to support and nurture the health and well-being of all animals and treat their clients and their pets as members of the family. Visit BrookstoneVet.com to schedule your appointment today. And as well as that, by Beer Street Journal, one of the largest online collections of original content dedicated to covering beer culture, education, and advancement of the beer industry. With thousands of articles, millions of unique visitors, and exposure in over 200 countries, Beer Street Journal is paving the way to enabling category growth, engaging a broader consumer base, and promoting better tasting beer for years to come. BeerStreetJournal.com, the best in beer. And last but certainly not least, for now at least, by Twisted Steel Steak Appeal. Twisted Steel Steak Appeal by Marty Plute has a solid punch of sweet and heat flavor that lingers to let you know it's there. Marty Plute is an award-winning Steak Cook-Off Association SCA competition steak cook, and he has finally revealed his secret resting rub that will blow you away with flavor. Steak, veggies, fish, pork, and poultry. Twisted Steel Steak Appeal is a rub above the rest. Then, as well as that, sponsored tonight by SimWrap Market, Max Graphics, J&R Craftworks, McConey Setup Shop, and Admin Box, along with Firestone and J&R Graphics. We're going to get set then to go racing here tonight in short order, but before we get to that, we have got a bit of a special occasion here. We'll get to that in just a moment as everything looking set to duke it out for racing action here in this one. It is going to be a very wild series of 80 laps of racing action here tonight. The drivers are gritting up down on the starting grid. So here to deliver the most famous words in motorsports, it's the driver 6. Driver, start your engine! And for the first time, we will fire cars up and go racing at the World Center of Racing from Daytona International Speedway. With everything said and done, let's take a rundown of your starting grid for the Tires Plus 200. Starting on the pole tonight, it's Kevin Cantonia with Munatsi Major down in the number 2 spot. Devin Pirog sits in third with Brian Shelton in fourth. Christopher Darling is down at the number 5 spot with Mark McFadden in 6th. Martin Pluto 7th with Tim Branson in 8th. Josh McDougall and Michael Mooney will close out the top 10. Shane Miller and TJ Allman will be on row number 6 with Rocco Stallone and Aaron Mack on row number 7. Carlton Charles and Chris Sawyer on row 8. Andrew Lavilli and Corey Danielson on row number 9. Closing out the top 20, you will have none other than Mike McRunnels and Travis Ide. Continuing on down through the field, into 21st place on row number 11, it's Josh Emerson alongside Mike Moorkid, along with Drew Eisman and Emmett Lindquist. Jeff Wyatt and Jason Gracias ran 25th and 26th. Ben Mack and Doug Dilliner, 27th and 28th. And rounding out a 30-car field, it's Stan Hausman and Jason Shue. So that is it then. We are stacked up. We are gridded up. We are ready to go racing. It's going to get wild. It's going to get hectic. Daytona always throws some curveballs into the wrenches. Who's going to come out on top? We mentioned before, Christopher Darling enters this race, one in the absolute best of the best, trying to see if he can start that title defense on a high after winning the inaugural Speed Cup Series race back in 2023. Mashburn and Milner will both be starting this race from pit road, leaving just 28 cars to start this race up on the racetrack. Kevin Cantonia will work his way through turn numbers 3 and 4. We are happy as always that you get the chance to be here with us on this absolutely incredible Thursday night as we get set to duke it out once again and kick off another absolutely phenomenal race season. We'll work into that Geico restart zone. Green flags out. We're racing once again in speed. Still two abreast as you work out of turn numbers 3 and 4 and into the tri-oval. Munatsi Major leads the first lap of the Speed Tires Plus Cup Series to green this time by as we fire off and in towards turn number 1. So far, that outside lane looks to be the place to be. Kevin Cantonia has not been able to establish too much momentum bottom side of the racetrack. We'll see if that inside line can get some kind of momentum forming. But just we saw an ad a few weeks ago, two distinct packs starting to form. You got pack 1 headed up from first all the way back to about 21st place, the 22nd on back. In a pack of their own, Jason Gracias heads up the second train in that number 1 car. Working off turn number 4, and Michael, oh, hello, we got one car to the infield already. The 21 car of Chris Sawyer going down and into the infield grass will rejoin just in front of traffic. So Chris Sawyer having a bit of a moment as he will slide off the track in turn number 1. And hello, is kind of slid up a little bit and nearly got up into the second train. Take a look at this one, and oh, hello, Danielson getting turned, sent that 21 Mustang hard into the infield grass. And a good job on Sawyer to be able to recover from that one, although he has lost the draft and is now in a world of hurt. Ryan Shelton, in the meantime, pushing his way to the point as the driver of the 99 Camaro, one of many rookies in the field here tonight, trying to make something happen down on that low line. Not to make start to drop back in this field. Lap number 4. Once again, we're looking like, it is looking like this race is going to be about 200 miles in distance. Now, that is not uncommon in the slightest for Daytona races as far as they go. It is unusual, though, for speed. Their races tend to be more on the shorter side, and in fact, most only going to be about 125 miles apiece. This is by far the longest race on the entire calendar. But hey, it's a big race, it's a big day. You may as well go all in. That's Major trying to push back to the point from the outside line. Shelton down low. Right now, the two main pushers are pole sitter Kevin Cantonio as well as Mark McFadden working to the top side. McFadden, of course, was a playoff driver last season when you had that bracket elimination style. Made it to the round of 8. Before he bumped out for the final 4. Looking to see if he can't start his season off on a high. See if he can't push his way up and try to get some kind of momentum going. One car way down onto the apron. That is Martin Plout dropping back in the Twisted Steel State Bill number 81 Toyota Camry. Tucks in line, but is that too little too late? Has Plout just lost the draft of the leading pack? He's clinging on for now, but only just, and it's looking like Carlin Charles might drag the brake a little bit to allow for Plout to close in. Want to know who else is trying to close in. This second pack here now running single file. They are starting to reel in some distance on this leading pack here, so we could potentially see push their way to the point. Darwin, of course, in that number 11 Camry. He is, at the moment, the defending champion. Not a good start so far for him. He started up in the top 5 and has dropped all the way back to 16th as a result. He is definitely hoping for better now. And he is in desperate need of a good finish here today if he wants to start that title defense on a high note. But for the time being, we continue to rip around the high banks of Daytona International Speedway. No changes so far throughout the running lines, and we're not expecting to see pit stops for a little bit yet. We are still very early in this 80-lap, 200-mile affair. Plenty of time for everything to go topsy-turvy on all ends of the racetrack. And we know for a fact that caution will come. It is just a matter of when. You get a pack of cars this big, it's inevitable. But right now, again, I like what I'm seeing. Everybody being very calm, very conservative, taking their time and making sure that nobody right now is being left behind. Well, unless you're Plout and Andrew LaValle, they might be on the backslide a little bit more, but for the most part, everybody else doing a good job on just keeping this thing hightailed up towards the front end of this field. The 9-9 is Shelton and Munatsu Major. Still double file, line of stern. They cross the start-finish line to lap number 8. Kevin Cantonio, of course, one of the other drivers in this pack here, and he is trying to get some kind of momentum here to push his way to the front. Your winner of the Max Graphics Pole Award, taking that first place. But, of course, pole position at the Super Speedway, it doesn't mean a whole lot. For a fact, you want to be up front at the end on the restarts. You don't want to be up there so much at the very beginning. So that is right now what Cantonio is struggling with, the fact that, well, I say struggling. He's pushing, and right now, he's not in a bad position. He's not in a position to win right now, but at this point, it's a case of making sure you're going to be there to fight for those positions at the very end of the race. Cantonio being conservative, he's taking this opportunity to save some fuel, set up a strategy play. And that could very well be what decides the race. If these guys at Munatsu Major, oh, there's a big bobble there for the 99 of Shelton. But again, if Shelton and Munatsu Major continue to lead this way, they are going to be in a bit of a bad way. How about this? Mark McFadden jumping to the inside line as McFadden going to try to make a charge at the point. Couldn't get around the 82, though. Will drop back to the 99. And Shelton remains packed up line of stern. Second train continuing to close in as Christopher Darling really pushed into the back bumper of Shane Wymiller. And right now, this secondary pack is running effectively line astern right now. They're not going double file like the guys in front of them. That is actually an advantage to them because it does allow for them to be able to close up that gap just a little bit more. You can see on board with Darling, they have now caught the track that tail of that tailing train. So we are going to be able to see these guys get packed up once more, and we will again have a 24-car strong field as these guys will thunder across the start-finish line to start lap number 11. 11 seconds off of the leading group. You've got a pack of 2 right now between Micah McReynolds and Jason Shu. 5 seconds behind them, Corey Danielson running in no man's land at the moment at the number 41, along with Chris Sawyer. And behind Sawyer, you've got Doug Milliner and Ben Mashburn running on a 2-car train of their own. These are all drivers that have lost the tail into the draft. They are at this point just waiting for a point where they'll be losing that lead draft. And oh boy, a big shakeup over here in the middle of the pack. TJ Allmans and along with Aaron Mack setting up a big charge up that middle groove. And how about the 26 car of Andrew Lavelle getting into this mess as well? Put Michael Moon to the point for the first time all night long. Boy, these guys, they made a big charge of steam up to the front end of this field. Take a look from the air. That is a charge as the 92 actually chopped down to the inside line. That is what allowed for these guys to make that lunge to the front. Oh, and a big stack up there. 31 kind of got into it with the 92 just a bit. Oh, that might be a bad bump there. TJ Allman going to have to back out a little bit and keep Michael Mooney honest here as Mooney going to try to get in there with TJ Allman. For the meantime, a lot of this field is looking strong. There's not too much at the moment with these guys. Everybody's being very calm, very collected. So Mooney, Allman, Mack, Major, and Branson bring up the top 5. Nazi Major trying to find another charge at the front. He will link up with Andrew Laville and start that charge to the point once more. Mooney's car remaining very, very stable. As the 22 of McFadden packed up with Minazzi Major, and then just in behind, there is your pole sitter Kevin Cantonio and Devin Pirog. Pirog, of course, a driver from season number 1 of Speed, showed some great promise in that first season of competition. And has recently been making waves in the NASCAR All-Stream Media Cup Series as well, showing that he could be some midfield contention over on the Friday Night Cup Series as well. And of course, we will be racing once again in El-Tac at the Nashville Super Speedway just 24 hours from now. They'll be racing at 9 o'clock p.m. this time tomorrow for round number 19 with just 3 races left to go in this season. The VSCA Sports Car Championship has their second race at the MV Skin Lab Grand Prix of Long Beach, and then the OMSRL Truck Series will return to Green Flag TV on Tuesday nights at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for race number 6. Oh, and the outside wall goes to 26. Look out! He's going to get in there with the 1. Spins around. Caution flag is out. For the first time tonight, the 1 of Jason Gracia slides down. Stan Hausman collected to this as well and forced to lock it down to a stop is Jason Shu. Caution number 1, 15 laps deep into an 80-lap race, and it falls apart in turn 1. That all kicked off when the 26 got up and into the outside wall. Let's take a look back, and we will show you what happened. As there you see the 26 get into the wall. He's going to slide down right into the 1 of Jason Shu. The 1 ping-pongs off the 99, and that hooks the 1 of Gracias hard into the outside wall. The 86 took a hefty whack there as well. Oh, and Housen got turned from behind by the 3. He was just trying to lock it down. So that was a completely separate incident that happened at the tail end of the field. It's unfortunate for Stan Housen, who was just trying to mind his own business there, and it didn't quite go to plan. Yeah, the 3 just drifted up and left rear hooked him as he was trying to lock it down to avoid going up and into the outside of him. This is on board with Shu. See this all develop up in front. Yeah, locked it up and just went straight. Got the thing woe down, though, and didn't result in too much damage on either party. We'll see who's going to bail to pit road. I would be surprised if not everybody came down and into the pits. And, in fact, no, a lot of drivers opting to stay out. Split. Well, Mac thought about it. A few drivers thinking about it, in fact. The first driver to commit will be Ryan Shelton in the 99, who has damage, obviously. Carlton Charles is in, Andrew LaVille, Jeff Wyatt, Darling Blute, Y. Miller, Rocco Stallone, and more. Quite a few drivers with some hefty damage after a pretty nasty impact into the outside wall for a few drivers in this field. And one car stopped in pit road. That is the 48 of Y. Miller. Got a bit lost, I think, on where his pit stall was. So not ideal for Shane Y. Miller, who's going to be down and out. Take a ride on board with him. Did he have any? I don't think he had any contact. So this is entering pit road for the first time tonight. Looking for his sign. It's right there. Oh, he did get into it. Make contact with the 86. Passing on the left. And the 86, who was that? That was Jeff Wyatt. Right, so Wyatt kind of getting into this a little bit as well. Now the 48 is somewhere in front. Just trying to maintain pit road speed. He's slowing up as well, so he's definitely in the slow lane. But I mean, man, that's a tough one to call. I mean, he never turned out on him or anything, so that's an interesting one for sure. Well, we are under our first caution flag in the Speed Tires Plus Cup Series, and while we are here, going to take the time to thank some more of our sponsors. Of course, J&R Craftworks, one of the big names coming into this series as well. J&R Craftworks is your source for custom iRacing awards, from full color personalization mouse pads to laser cut wood and acrylic trophies and plaques. J&R has something for any budget. They also offer a large variety of wood, acrylic, and resin decorations and craft items, and are proud to work with several different iRacing teams, including Speed. Check them out at jnrcraftworks.com. Lights are out. We are 1 to green, this time by so we will get set to go green flag racing once again for the Daytona International Speedway for lap number 19. Almost a quarter of the way through. We are making quick time. So anticipating for this to go a pretty long way green before we really get things kind of re-racked and restacked and set up for that final green flag. Michael Mooney has the lead of this pack. TJ Ullman in that number 2 spot. Tim Branson, Aaron Mack, Benazzi Major, and Kevin Cantonio bring up rows 2 and 3. So we will line them up. Double file. The iRacing safety car ducks into pit road. Angelo Ville and Jason Gracias still stranded in the pits. Effectively done and dusted for the night. Green flag is back in the air. Top 5 getting single file and a 4-car breakaway at the head of the field. Mooney, Allman, Branson, and Major tried to get a bit of a tandem going. It will slip back to 5th and more. So far, not seen anything too crazy out here on this restart, as everybody is just getting themselves tucked up in line. First double file pack comes right around where that 73 of Josh Emerson is. Emerson in a 3-car Crusade on the top. He's carrying with, well, make that 4th. Okay, well, we're going to take a lot of cars on the top side. It was initially the 40 of Emmett Lindquist, as well as just behind the 99 as well. And now 3 wide as Benazzi Major tried to get up there as well. These guys weren't having it, so Major was starting to slip back. Major going to have to tuck in line here as nobody wanted to work with him. Looks like the 62 will show some mercy, drags the brake a bit for Travis Hyde, and lets that 62 car, or the 82 car, in line. Couple cars getting loosey-goosey off of 4 and skirting with that inside line down to the bottom of the racetrack. 60 laps to go. We are 25% through our season opener. Josh Emerson on a tear to the top side. Mooney trying to go up the side draft. Scares Lindquist up the track, and Emerson now clear by himself. Has to choose which lane to go. He'll jump back to the top. And that bottom lane losing all of his momentum. Lindquist and Emerson both going to jump down. Shelton into 3rd, trying to gun for 2nd, though. Josh Emerson starting to pull away from this field here. But again, that's not something that's going to fly for too long, as we're going to go 3 wide. Lindquist on the bottom will get around Emerson. 3 abreast now still as we thunder down in the turn. Numbers 1 and 2. The 62 way up the track. Travis Hyde clips the outside wall, goes down, and there goes the 83. Allman spinning around hard into the outside wall. Collects the 102 of Micah McReynolds. The 31 spinning around, and the caution flag finally waves as Aaron Mack will loop it on the backstretch. There's a lot of cars with a lot of damage in this. Ryan Shelton, the leader. And we will jump back. All right, so this is already in progress. We'll try to jump back a little bit further to get an idea of how this all kicked off. The 62 got into the wall. That scares the 83 into the 92. They start to spin around. The 77 just avoids disaster. Then Micah McReynolds just gets slammed into the outside wall. And somewhere right there, the 31 got hooked. Aaron Mack. Oh, and Christopher Darling. Darling also spun way down on the inside of the racetrack. And, oh, hard hit there from McReynolds again. Right on board with Micah McReynolds as he was trying to get around Aaron Mack. And then, bam, there's the first hard hit. And at that point, he has lost any steering control that car has got. And then, I just can't slow it down in time. Tough break for a lot of good cars that got collected in this. There you see the 83 about to be spun around, and he was not the only one, as Christopher Darling, another driver that got spun around with all of this. He was just trying to escape down to the inside, and it did not work out in his favor. That would be putting it mildly. See it develop up front. We got a bit of a shot to the shorts and Carlton Charles as well, and then it was just pandemonium. Couple of hard licks. Ryan Shelton staying out. So is Emmett Lindquist and Travis Ide. Shelton pitted on lap 16. Lindquist and Ide have still yet to stop. They will now run 2 and 3. Everybody else making their way out of pit road now. More drivers steadily making their way back out to the racetrack. There were cars laps down, but they were in pit road, so we will not see a recipient for the Brookstone Lucky Dog this time around. Caution now for the second time tonight on lap 24. We're going to take a step back. We'll be with you again in just a moment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV, where we are getting set to go back to Green Flag Racing from the Daytona International Speedway. Caution flag number, we did not make time by. Ryan Shelton with the lead. Lindquist down in second. Travis Ide third. Drew Eisman sits in fourth. All of these guys are going to be trying to do their darndest as they look to work their way back towards the start-finish line. Biggest mover of the day so far, Emmett Lindquist in that number 40 car, riding the top side of the racetrack right now in the number 2 spot, right now the contender for the SimRat Market Hard Charger Award at the end of the race. That award goes to the driver that has the most spots improved between the drop of the green flag to the checkered. Pace car is down and into pit road as Ryan Shelton will lead the pack back to green. Two-car breakaway, it's not going to last. Drew Eisman running down the top groups, and he's taking Minati Major with him. Eisman wanted to look outside. Major didn't go with him, so Minati Major will pick up third, and the 77 will be dropping into fourth. Double file as we get up to speed. Down the back straightaway, bit of three wide action towards the tail end. Darling getting in there with that 39, Stan Hausman way to the bottom and then up to the top as well. Mike Morgren having a bit of that 3 wide moment as well. 34 of Rocco Stallone still in the fray to boot. Ryan Shelton at the head of this field continuing to lead away, but here comes Drew Eisman, one of the final 4 contenders looking to battle his way to the top side of the racetrack to continue his big charge through the point. And he is taking that 45 of Josh McDougall in there with him. And now Major goes to the top, wanting to get some of that slipstream, but how about that? The 99 of Shelton going up to cut off the run. So Ryan Shelton wanting to lead some more laps in this race as Shelton going to block off that momentum. And on to Major. Now the main pusher on that outside lane. Eisman jumps down to the bottom, changing allegiances once again. A little bit of bumping going on mid-corner. That's not ever ideal, but there is a way to make it work. Stan Hausen, by the way, with that fastest lap of the race last time by at 45.71. And once again, 2 distinct packs forming. First on back to 15th, and then 16th on back to about 25th. It is always fascinating to me about how much easier it is for 2 different packs to form in next-gen racing. It really puts so much emphasis on just how important that draft is in trying to make the absolute most of everything you got. Shelton, Major, McDougall, Plutz, and Pirog currently running as the top 5 as we take over to lap number 30. The sun continuing to set behind the horizon here tonight. 81 degrees Fahrenheit at the moment down on the racetrack. So track is cooling, and that is only a trend that will continue as this race goes along. .25 cars sit on the lead lap right now. You've got 28 running on the racetrack. How about Darling throwing it up the middle line, taking Michael Mooney with him as Darling trying to make it. Oh, look out! He's going to get hooked by Michael Mooney into the outside wall. Devin Pirog goes with him, and that's going to collect a couple. Now heads up, watch out for the second pack. They're going to come screaming in. And a huge pileup on the front straightaway. That may very well be the primary contender for the Twisted Steel Stake Appeal crash of the race. I cannot underestimate how poorly that went for so many drivers. We'll get a look back and show you what happened in full. Darling really kind of kicked this off. Well, I say Darling, Michael Mooney kicked this off. He tried to get in line and just hooked in the right rear. Christopher Darling spun him up into Pirog. Stan Hausman got in there as well, and then you got the 62 that took a hard whack. The 22 car spun around. The 41 just snuck through there. I have to get right on board with him. Here comes the second pack. Oh, hard hit for the 26 who came flying in. The 15 as well. There was some very, very nasty licks in that whole ordeal. Take a ride on board with the 15 of Kevin Cantonio, who got into this with the 26 car. You see the wrecks developing up the road. Jammed on the binders and trying to slow it down. And all of a sudden just gets run over from behind. Then the 41 of Danielson had this close shave. Right on board with him. Ah, I thought he got around that. Not quite. Got into it big time with Darling. So Corey Dennison is in it. A lot of drivers are into pit road. Shelton, Major, Branson, and Mack all staying out there on the racetrack. A lot of cars now with a lot of damage they have to navigate. And I do believe it ended up being, I think, Aaron Mack that took the Brooklyn's lucky dog. Boy, that fell apart in a hurry, and you never want to see a wreck develop that quickly, but that is just, that's ugly. That's just what happens when it all goes wrong. We got one more look at speed from the air as this whole thing developed, and talk about taking out the pack. There's a lot of cars with big damage. Darling went up the middle of 3-1, and that worked out just fine. Mooney tried to go with him. And yikes. I feel so bad for Carlton Charles. He was doing a great job slowing that thing down and just got collected at the end of it all. While we're here, tonight's broadcast and the entire season is brought to you by Tires Plus Total Car Care. At Tires Plus, they know tires, but understand that you may not. And that's okay. It's their job to work with you to figure out what tire options might work best for your vehicle, driving style, and budget. From simple oil changes to brakes and alignments, including your ADAS sensors, they don't believe in performing unnecessary repairs. They'll tell you what needs to be taken care of now and what can wait, because at the end of the day, it's your car and your call. And by Max Graphics. Max Graphics is all of your graphic design needs. From NASCAR to sim racing, logos, banners, posters, t-shirt design, and other commercial uses. Find out more today at facebook.com/Max Graphics Design. And by Brookstone Animal Hospital. Brookstone Animal Hospital is an AAHA accredited full-service veterinary, medical, boarding, and grooming facility serving Metro Atlanta. Their mission is to provide modern and up-to-date medicine while tailoring their care to the individual needs of every animal and owner, striving to nurture and support the health and well-being of all animals, and treat their clients and their pets as members of their family. Visit brookstonevet.com to schedule your appointment today. Other sponsors include Twisted Steel Steak Appeal by Marty Plute, Simrat Market, Abinbox, McConey Setup Shop, Beer Street Journal, Firestone, and J&R Craftworks. Approaching that halfway point, less than 10 laps away. Ryan Shelton continuing to lead the group in that number 99. Minot Major sits situated on his outside. Josh McDougall and Martin Plute run third and fourth. Pace car is down and in as Ryan Shelton takes us into the restart zone. Green flags out. We are underway. That crash took out a good third of the field. We are down to just 20 cars running on the racetrack. Aaron Mack currently sitting in the lucky dog spot. It's Shelton pulling away from the head of this field. Minot Major going with him. Martin Plute sits down first place on the inside line. Third place right now overall, trying to get in there with Drew Eisman as well. And a lot of cars I think might be looking to potentially take a bit of a breather this time by as they just try to get themselves sorted. Maybe settle in for the long haul, but then again, these are racers and it is Daytona. They put emphasis early on on just how important it is that these guys have that good start to their season. Turning lap 35 of 80. Shelton, Major, Plute, McDougall, and Eisenman tucked up, line astern as they thunder into turn numbers 3 and 4. Firing off the front straightaway. TJ Ullman is into pit road. He did leave for a brief time. He is back in now, so the 83 car looking like he may very well find himself down and out. A few drivers abandoning lanes, a few drivers moving up to join lanes. Again, so far it's looking very organized in this pack. I'm not seeing too much from this field to be of any worry. Although we say that, but we've seen it as well. It only takes one bad move to cause an absolutely monumental pileup. Shelton has been a big watch so far. That 99 car has been leading a good chunk of this race, or at least running within the top 5. So I do believe Shelton could be a huge contender to take the win here tonight if he can keep this strong run going. He has not pitted since lap 16, so he will, I think, be in for a pit stop at the next yellow flag, assuming we get another one. And all this with still over 40 laps to go. So halfway home this time by Ryan Shelton, continuing to drive home and clear out of turn number 2 down the Daytona super stretch. As Shelton, Major, and McDougall continue to scrap it out for that number 3 spot. Tim Branson in the mix as well. And then how about Carlton Charles looking to throw his hat into the ring? That outside lane is moving right now. There's no momentum on that inside line. Drew Eisenman has got to get a move on. Right now, Eisenman is in 7th leading that inside line. He's got nobody to help him. Everybody else They're starting to move up to the top lane, so we're seeing a big outside crusade. Here at Daytona, right at that halfway mark, the 48 of Weinmill are going to jump out and fade to the back. You don't often see this big outside lane in stock car racing and iRacing. You see it all the time in the real world, but not so much in iRacing itself. And right now, I mean, hey, if it works, right? .39 laps to go, and we will continue to run as things are. Second pack, still sitting 4 strong. Doug Milliner was able to link up to the back end of this pack. Travis Hyde making his way out of pit road, so the number 62 car will find his way back onto the racetrack. Group of 3 cars kind of loosely separated. TJ Ullman among them, Stan Hausman in the mix. Meanwhile, your leaders, the biggest pack in the racetrack, runs 1st to 12th. Inside lane trying to establish itself again. Chris Sawyer trying to make a run to the inside. The 40th Emmett Lindquist is down there as well. Jason Shue, we saw him involved in a couple racks earlier on in mix as well. He got the 31 of Aaron Mack, the current Lucky Dog recipient, trying to see if he can't push his way to the front and maybe even unlap himself, you know. It is a possibility. We have seen that done before. It's a very risky place, though, for that number 31 car of Aaron Mack, remember, because he is that Lucky Dog recipient, but if he is involved in any way in a wreck, even going into the grass to avoid it, it nullifies that Brookstone Lucky Dog. So he wants to make sure that he's safe as physically possible right now. Don't try to push it. The next closest driver to you that could get the Lucky Dog is 6 laps back. It's not worth trying to push it so hard. More and more cars starting to duck to the inside line. Devin Pirog jumping down low, and he is not the only one as well. Some cars trying to flirt with an inside lane and then immediately drop back, as now Devin Pirog and Phil sliding further down. They did get a bit discombobulated there coming out of turn number 4, and that costed a big chunk of momentum. And they are set a long way back up to the pack in front. We may have just seen another big field split. Shelton leads the way, runs the outside, catching up now to Josh Emerson. The driver that we saw leading the pack earlier on, and Emerson getting set to go 1 lap down. This is bad news for Aaron Mack, as this puts now Emerson as the main Lucky Dog recipient, but if Mack can get around him, then problem solved. Though running in that second pack, and it's a good ways up to Josh Emerson, and Emerson has managed to, whoa, look out, we are getting all sorts of squirrely at the tail end several drivers nearly going around, and I think one of those, Ben Mashburn, got into the outside wall even. So Mack in the middle of that pack, not what he wanted to see, but of course Josh Emerson now sits as that lucky dog recipient, but in doing so, broke up another big chunk of the pack. Now only first to sixth run is the leading group, and then seventh on back form their own little group. That's got Lindquist, Sawyer, Plute, and Eisenman. All tucked up line astern. They would continue to try to duke it out here as Ryan Shelton, Minati Major, Josh McDougall, and Tim Branson all remain packed up line astern at the moment. Shelton on a good charge up towards the head of the field. Major, McDougall, Branson, and Charles run second to fifth. Rocco Stallone, Chris Sawyer, Martin Plute, and more sit just behind. Drew Eisenman and Emmett Lindquist run all the way back to the number 10 spot. Shane Weinmiller is right now 11th. He runs on that bottom lane, still trying to close up a little bit more, and looks like they have managed to catch up to that second pack. So they all now sit about 2 seconds off the main leaders, and they have just caught the 102 machine of Micah McReynolds. Oh, he's going to get into the side of Weinmiller, but McReynolds on the apron transition, so nearly wrecking again, this time with a lapped car. But for the most part, everything still remains tucked up, patched up as it is. And I'm not seeing any way that this is going to be changing anytime soon. Right now, these top five, top six have been absolutely on a tear, driving away from this field. So with that all said in mind, we are currently sitting with 30 laps left to go in the Speed Tires Plus Cup Series in the Daytona International Speedway for the series opener. We're going to take a step back. We'll be with you once again in just a few moments. You're watching us live on Green Flag TV. Green flag plate stops on the way. Look out, we got one going around. We're about to get a caution here as well. And that's big trouble just as we come back. Big pile. Oh, and a hard hit for the 102. down into turn number 3, right in the middle of pit stops, and Aaron Mack, the contender for the Brookstone Lucky Dog, is involved. That will give it to Josh Emerson. But did Emerson get a piece of that? That right now is the big question. From the spotter stand, it all started to pile up as they got down and in towards... Oh, yes, he did. No Lucky Dog today. There was a second wreck way up the road even. So a few problems then all over the racetrack. And it kind of all started at the back straight of the 27 and the 86 got into it, and it was just pandemonium from there. And all this happening right in the middle of green flag pit stops to boot. There's a lot that these drivers are going to have to handle now as a result of that pileup that just took place. Talk about bad timing for a good chunk of this field. We'll get a better look at that one there, as that didn't quite give the best of angles here. We're just trying to charge out at the inside. The 86 to 21 straddling that yellow line, and well, around they all go. As they watch the 102 of McRunnels, nowhere to go. Slams into the 40. Well, a lot of drivers are now into pit road with 26 laps left on the docket. Back out and on. Back. And several of these guys going to be remaining in pit road to get those damages repaired. Carlton Charles, one of the few that will look to get back onto the racetrack early. Well, to say that was the ideal way to have a set of green flag pit stops kick off, I think is a little bit of an understatement, and I know a lot of drivers that were not going to be terribly pleased as a result of what just went down there, coming into turn numbers 3 and 4. It's a very wild way to end a green flag run, right? You're in the middle of green flag pit stops, and all of a sudden you got a caution with a lot of drivers going around. Carlton Charles, one of those drivers that took a pretty nasty hit in that 27 car. I mean, just a lot of discombobulation and miscommunication. Nobody really agreeing on where to go, and well, that's all she wrote. And they're still losing it and fully losing it around there. Then there goes Josh Emerson hard into the outside wall. So Emerson remains down a lap. Did not receive the Brookstone Lucky Dog that time by. We go lights out now with 1 to go. Stacking here a little bit. Rocco Stallone, Ryan Shelton, Ben Mashburn, Minati right now. So the lights are out aboard the iRacing pace car, and we will go back to green flag racing, this time by Stallone, Shelton, Mashburn, Major, Plout, Eisman, and more. All still packed up line astern and also with a lot to prove. Been the afternoon that your defending champion Christopher Darling was hoping for. He sits several laps down, runs 29th right now on the racetrack as these guys just trying to get themselves sorted with those last-minute details before we go to green flag racing. Tough break for a lot of drivers. We have just over half the field still on the lead lap. 16 out of 30 remain. And almost nobody without damage. Green flag is in the air once more. We are back to green. Whether we are out of the woods yet for pit stops remains to be seen as the rest of the pack hightails in onto the front straightaway. Oh, look out! A contact for the leaders. Shelton getting down and into Ben Mashburn, sending the field scrambling. Thought for a moment we had cars going down to the back as well, but we have managed to survive it. But only just. Take a look from above. Working through the tri-oval and entering, oh, good gravy. Mashburn just got up into the 99. That nearly resulted in yet another caution. So far, a phenomenal job in these guys to get themselves settled down. Josh McDougall and Munatsi Major remain stacked up side by side in line astern. The front pack right now 11 strong. Mark McFadden's into pit road. He will go down a lap and, oh, hello. We got one driver actually making his way into pit road. That is Travis Ide. And Ide with big damage on the front bumper. So something has gone awry for that number 62 car in the last little while. If he's going to be forced into pit road. As it stands, Ryan Shelton currently has the lead. Major, Eisman, Plout, McDougall, and more all sitting line astern. As they thunder down the back stretch and now working into turn 3. Shelton again favoring that outside lane, and I can't say I blame him. It's a bit unorthodox by iRacing standards. Usually we see a lot of drivers looking to go to the bottom, but right now, that outside lane has been working for Shelton. He has led every single lap that he and Munatsi Major have been pushing for the top side. These are two drivers that have been getting on very well in this race, the 82 and the 99. They have been a great team, and I'm not anticipating for them to be breaking apart from each other anytime soon. They do have some big contenders, though. Drew Eisman, Martin Plout, 2 playoff contenders from last season that are looking to get into the fray. And then, of course, Josh McDougall, and then you got the 86 of Jeff Wyatt in there as well. So 2 rookies leading the way up front before drivers that all competed in last year's season, running 3rd through 6th. And then, of course, Doug Millen still in the background as well. We are now up to 9 cars being with us here on this lead lap. Or in this leading pack, I should clarify. So right now, trying to see how much they can stretch this field, and if they can make it to the end, great. Looking back to Jason Chu, Chris Sawyer, Tim Branson, and more. All stacked up with each other. Corey Danielson is in there as well. Ben Mashburn is there. Not a lot of double file racing going on. Everything right now is single file, with everybody just, again, trying to see how the fuel number is going to shake out. I do not believe we are good to go on fuel yet. Now, granted, we haven't exactly had a lot of chances to get some good long green flag runs in. I think this might be the best shot out of all of them, though, just because of how spaced out the entire field is. Only half these guys remain on the lead lap. Josh Emerson, just like the last yellow flag, sits as the main contender for the Brooklyn's Lucky Dog. Was due to get it on the last caution, but got put into the outside wall in the midst of that wreck, so it did not end up going to him. And it did not go to anybody. Plout trying to open up that inside lane a bit more, looking to take Miller and Wyatt with him. Doug Miller thought about jumping down low, but he will remain loyal to the outside line. And wow, that big moment for Plout is going to absolutely kill his momentum. And in fact, the 48 going to drop back with him. They're all going to fade to the rear of this pack. That's an interesting call, as they're going to drop all the way down the racetrack. Oh, look now. Martin Plout just getting into that outside wall, giving it a bit of a kiss off of turn 4. Top 9 still packed under a second, but that little mistake could see them falter and drop back. Jeff Wyatt, Doug Milner still in the fray. Josh McDougall working to the outside line. Eisman, Major, Shelton, all stacking up line astern as well. $14 to go. No signs of giving up for Ryan Shelton, who is continuing. He has not shown any change in pace on that outside line. So Shelton, I think, still remains my favorite to win this race. But I know obviously everybody at home might very well have their own opinions on that matter. I mean, yeah, you're leading now. You've led most of this race, but at the end of the day, the lead is one of the last places you want to be when that white flag falls. That's when you want to find yourself being up at the very front of the, or at least down in the number 2 spot, because then you're able to kind of control it a little bit more. The big Twisted Steel crash of the day came way back on lap number 30 when you had a good half the pack take themselves out of contention in the infield grass on the tri-oval, which is why we see so many of these drivers now suffering, being laps down and being forced to be relegated to spots further down the pack. Packs like this all were collected in that incident, and a lot of these drivers still suffering with a lot of that damage from earlier on in the running order. Right now, the 41 of Corey Danielson leads the way. They have just caught Rocco Stallone. And Stallone trying to find a hole to get in, but he'll be forced all the way to the back end. He will, I think, yeah, he'll tuck in between the 21 and the 102. Ten laps to go this time by. Shelton showing no signs of yielding yet. Line these guys up and get themselves ready for what will be a hard-fought dogfight right through to that checkered flag. While we do have 10 laps to go and a little bit of a lull in the action, want to once again give a really quick list off of all of the main sponsors that are on board Speed Cup Series. Of course, the title sponsor being Tires Plus Total Car Care. Tires and service that keep you in the driver's as well. Stone Animal Hospital, Beer Street Journal, Twisted Steel Steak Appeal, Simrap Market, Max Graphics, J&R Graphworks, Admin Box, McConey Setup Shop, and Firestone. Nine to go. Micah McRunnels will make his way into pit road in the 102. So McRunnels is going to be down and in this time by for service for his final stops of the afternoon. Mike Borkrib, being caught by the leaders, will dip onto the apron, surrender a lap. Already several laps down to 26, no point in making his own position worse. Christopher Darling, too, will go down a lap. Now sitting with 8 to go. As McDougal into the side of Drew Eisman as they entered the back straightaway. And now the 86 shooting for the mid. And for Jeff Wyatt, fires that one. Trying to get in there as well. As more racing action continuing to kick off in earnest, the 99 is Shelton. Leading the way. Oh, and a bit of Wyatt way down and onto the apron, nearly turned by Milliner. Line. 45 of McDougal in there as well. 82 of Benazzi Major gets in there. File it up again. Getting down. 5 to go. This time, Shelton have what it takes to try to hang on. All group that can realistically go for this win. Nonetheless, heartbeat. Got this second pack. They can potentially reel up any sort of ground, but I think with 5 laps to go, they're going to start battling it out amongst themselves for that second pack match as well. Tim Branson running 4-1. Jason Gross is kind of breaking up the pack. About half, and the race leaders. Four to go. Look, go the end on fuel. As boy, oh boy, let the intensity pick up in overdrive. Plute jumps down to the bottom. Shane Line Miller, Doug Miller that goes down with him. Right now, Doug Milner is Simrat Market hard charger the afternoon, unless Drew Eisman can upset that momentum by making a gun for the win. Milner to the bottom again, though. He's going to pick. But everybody else jumps high, leaving Milner, the lone wolf, down to the inside. Wolf, Daytona get nowhere in next-gen racing. Time by, as time continuing to slip away. Does Minotti move from the number 2 spot? See if he can gun it, go for a race win. Right away, Jason Gracias down and out. He is into pit road. Forced to retire with technical problems. Meanwhile, Ryan Shelton takes the Beer Street Journal 1 to go. Final trip around Daytona in the National Speedway. Major trying to make something happen. Drew Eisman trying to go to the inside line, taking Martin Plue with him. 2 of the final 4 contenders. Whoa, a bad bump in 1 and 2. Upsets the momentum, and it's a drag race down the back straightaway. The 99 trying to see if he can hang on in the lane, but the 77 is charging down to the inside. We see potentially 3-1. Oh, a look down as Shelton tried to sidetrack. Breaks clear. Plute trying to get around him. Here comes Shelton fighting back to the top side. Drag race to the line. Crashing, and it'll be Ryan hanging on for the win. Fantastic show here tonight as 1 by 1 drop siphon across the line. And here is an absolute hornet's nest on the back straightaway. Oh, that's not going to go well. 4 wide, never works. Contact. Around goes Emerson. Around goes the 2. Fighting for 15th on back. A lot of these guys are laps down. Just having some fun with it at this point. Last driver. What a wild drive. Ryan Shelton taking home the win in the Tires Plus. He'll wild night one as these guys all did a great job on putting on a phenomenal season opener here tonight. There we go. There's the proper angle as he'll burn it down in front, right under the grandstand. We'll take a rundown of your official post-race results here tonight from the official running of the Speed Tires Plus Cup Series and the Tires Plus 200. Taking the win tonight, Ryan Shelton by 0.03 of a second over Drew Eisman. Josh McDougall was down in third. Minati Major brings it home in fourth. Shane Weimiller was down at the top 5 with Doug Miller in 6th. Martin Blue was 7th. Jeff White 8th. Ben Masper 9th. Corey Danielson rounded out the top 10. Tim Branton, Chris Sawyer, Jason, Rocco Stallone, and Carlton Charles, the final drivers. Finished this race on the lead lap. From there, you had Aaron Mack, Josh Emerson, Kevin Cantonio, Emmett Lindquist, Stan Hausman, Jason Gracias, TJ Allman, Michael Mooney, Mike Borkridge, Devin Purog, Micah McRunnels, Christopher Darling, Mark McFadden, Travis Ide, and Andrew LaVille. Well, what an absolute banger of a way to kick off the racing season here in 2024 for the Speed Tires Plus Cup Series, and an absolutely phenomenal drive from all involved. By the way, it did go the way of Doug Milner by just one position for the Sit At Market Hard Charger Award. Eisman picked up plus 22 for that award. I'll give a chat here to all of the drivers here. We will be looking kick off first and foremost with Ryan Shelton, the race winner here at the end of the night. It, of course, whenever we get a rookie taking hold of the race win here in this one, Ryan Shelton joins us up here in the broadcast booth. And, well, Ryan, your first race in speed, you lock it out with a first win. Not a bad way to kick off your career here.
Yeah, it is definitely a good one. I normally suck at this plate racing stuff, so it was good to get a win here.
Kind of walk us through the strategy, because I know in terms of green flag stops, there wasn't a whole lot of it, but it really came out to that outside lane. What helped you so much with that outside momentum this afternoon?
It was really that 82 car. He pushed me the entire race, and yeah, without him, some of those inside runs would have definitely gotten us, especially there at the end. So big thanks to him giving us the big run. I mean, we got really lucky with track position on qualifying, and then the yellow flag with about 30 laps to go really helped me out because we had just pitted, so it kept us from going a lap down. So overall, it fell in my favor, really.
We will swing out next week to Hampton, Georgia, just a little ways up north, but not too far. Obviously, Atlanta Motor Speedway, it's a pretty big race right nowadays, but much than that of Daytona. Same laps, but very different mileage. Well, what can we expect to see from that 99 car come Atlanta Motor Speedway?
I don't know if we're going to do the same thing again. Like I said, normally this plate racing stuff I'm not super good at, so I'm just lucky to get this win and hopefully just make it out of Atlanta alive.
Well, we'll see if you'll be one of the rookies that could mount a title offensive against Christopher Darling. For now, congratulations on taking the win on the Tires Plus 200. We will see you next week then in Georgia.
All right, thank you, you too.
Ryan Shelton join us up here in the broadcast booth, taking that one home in victory lane, and we will look to see if we can't track down our second place runner, Drew Eisenman. He's usually lurking somewhere around here, but looks like he is not going. There he is, and I was just starting to think we weren't going to be able to get a chit chat with our number driver. Well, Drew, it's been a little while since you and I had the chance to talk together. So close on that final lap. Walk us through it.
I mean, I wasn't, I don't know. I wasn't really mirror driving. I was just trying to read the momentum and try to side draft when I could. Watched the replay a little bit. Guy behind Martin shot the middle, killed our momentum. So I tried to cut it down to the apron, um, coming out of four. But I mean, just on the last lap, Martin was just shoving me. We decided we're gonna hang high. The bottom wasn't working for more than a lap, and then with one to go, we were gonna shoot it. And that's what he did. He shoved the crap out of me, and I was all over the place because I told him, "Don't let off. Like if I crash, I crash. I'm not running for points this year. So whatever happens, happens." And we were real close. But yeah, should have been an exciting finish from the fans' point of view.
You mentioned not running for points. We will not be seeing that 77 car trying to make an offensive against Christopher Darling for the championship.
Yeah, I'm gonna run some races here and there. Yeah, just run the tracks I want to run. It's unfortunate a group of guys that I'm really close with where they decided to run another Thursday league, so we'll be back and forth between the two. I'll definitely be here for Coda, probably Texas, a few others here and there, but yeah, just gonna have fun with it. I put a lot into last year, and it was pretty crushing the way it ended for me. So yeah, just gonna try to have a lot more fun, take it a little less serious.
A little less serious. Next week is Atlanta Motor Speedway. You mentioned being here for Coda down in March. Will we be seeing you at any point now and then?
That's a good. I don't know. Maybe not at Atlanta. That's for sure. I don't like that track. Look what they did to my poor boy. It was such a good such a good track before, and of all the tracks to do that to, that they kind of mutilated Atlanta that way is unfortunate. Like I know there's a lot of not great tracks, and they did it to. I mean, I know it's not always the best racing. That's like every track, but like I don't know. I can't stand what they made Atlanta. I know a lot of people like it, so whatever. Don't yuck somebody else's yum. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be really entertaining. I hate the way the front chicane is. They should have just made it super banked or something instead of the weird flat where the lines don't go at all where you should be going. There'll probably be a lot of wrecks just like this one. But yeah, it'll probably be really entertaining. I'm gonna peek at the schedule since you asked me. I know the will not misses are Coda in Texas. Probably Darlington, maybe Worldwide as well. Those would probably be the ones I definitely do. I would say if it were Old Phoenix, I would do it. Maybe Las Vegas. I might run Vegas. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, I don't really have plans other than Coda in Texas. So maybe you'll see me. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see how I feel that Thursday.
Sounds like a plan. We will see you then. Congratulations on that number 2 from Daytona. Whenever we see you on the track next.
Thanks, Nolan. Have a great night.
Broadcast booth, and well, with that, we're going to take things on down to the third place finisher. Josh McDougall was doing a lot of the pushing in that final sprint to the end. Josh, kind of walk us through it because good finish overall, but you were probably hoping for at least 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, it was Sheldon and Manazzi were working together the entire race. Those were the 2 guys in front of me pretty much the entire race. And they're staying up on the high line the entire time, and I know it was really hard to get a bottom line going to make any progress on that top line. So I figured my best bet was to stick behind them and see it through. It got really sketchy there at the end. That bottom line, I think it was Eisman and Flute and Weinmiller finally got a line going down there right at the last lap. And if it wasn't for that little incident right before the finish, I probably would end up 5th, but I just barely skated through and got 3rd. So,
well, overall, I know it's probably not the way you're hoping for this race. Still a very great way to kick off the 2024 season. Looking forward into Atlanta and beyond, what's going to be the goal for that number 45 Spotify Camry?
Well, super speedways are always my strength. So I'm always looking forward to those, like these Daytonas, Talladegas, Atlantas. It's just whether or not I can make it through without getting wrecked halfway through the race. If I can do that, then I can almost guarantee myself a top 5. So that's what we're going to be looking at for this whole season.
Top 5 sounds like a good goal to shoot for. Can we expect to see a potential double podium then in Atlanta?
Hopefully, yeah. Yes, hopefully. That's what we're hoping for.
All right, well, we will let you get back to celebrating then the third place finish. Congratulations once again, and we will see you next week then in Hampton, Georgia.
Thanks, Nolan.
Josh McDougall joining us up here in the broadcast booth. And, well, with that, that is about going to be a wrap then for our show. What an absolutely phenomenal way to end the racing season. That could not have been a better introduction. Bombshell coming on up next week. It will be a run to Atlanta Motor Speedway. 80 left still, but only 125 miles as opposed to 200 that we had here tonight. So it's going to be a long and hard-fought race next Thursday night. Don't forget, tomorrow night on Friday, the LTAC Cup Series swings out at Super Speedway for race number 19. You will have the VSCA Sports Car Championship returning on Saturday morning. The MV Skin Lab Grand Prix of Long Beach for an hour and 40 minutes. And then the Ole Miss Truck Series, August coming Tuesday at America's Home for Motorsports in Concord, North Carolina at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time at Charlotte Motors. Now on Green Flag TV, that is all I got time for here on this one. To all the fun coming on board for the Speed Cup Series. Apologies to any of the technical difficulties that may have happened today. We are battling those. We are expecting for them to be resolved, hopefully by tomorrow's show. If not, we'll get them fixed soon. I can promise on that. Check out who we are, what we're all about. You can check us out on www.greenflagtv.com. Myself here, Nolan Rempel. See you all tomorrow night or whenever you see him next on Green Flag TV.